Ta-dum.
Da-da.
Cool. I did like an exhale with it. It's not like something that I imagine they do in yoga a lot is breathing. Or maybe life in general.
Oh, yeah.
You know, probably life in general.
Yeah, well,
we do a lot.
no, hey, you gotta get that ujjayi breath. I think that is a yoga thing. What is it? How is it supposed to work? Can't remember.
A kai breath?
Ujjayi.
Oh, there we go. We're just saying words now. We don't.
No. Ujjayi breath's the thing. I'm trained in this method.
Hey, you know what? But if you want to do yoga on this tour, then you need to go to the yoga section of the boat. But if you want to talk about Ichiro Oda's One Piece, you stay here because we are the Grand Line Tourist podcast, chapter by chapter examining or re-examining if you're like myself and a nerd and rereading One Piece for like the third, fourth time in your life. I am Eric Vu, your tour guide, reading One Piece, Ichiro Oda's manga One Piece, across the interwebs in deep Southern California. Do we have a deep South here in California?
I think if there's a deep South, I am in it. Right?
I think you're in the deep South of California. Not quite the same. We have our tourist, Jacob. Jarecki? I forgot what your middle initial is.
Oh, it's going to be a mystery. You're going to have to go back and listen to every episode of the Grand Line Tourist to see if we do happen to reveal my middle initial, which I can assure you is or is not or might be J, so maybe Eric's right, maybe Eric's wrong. No clue. But yeah, I am your tourist. I'm just here trying to do yoga in the right spot, trying to occasionally get a snack to eat. It's a little rough, but I'm having a good time.
The doors are closed
here for
now.
a long
You have to
time.
stay for the rest of this examining. So we have to jump into this itinerary today, Jacob. I apologize. Please.
Oh, before you get to the itinerary, I was informed, Captain, that there was some letter at port to be informed about.
I do have something to announce. It's big, and I don't even know if I said it before, but One Piece is getting a card game that Jacob and I are obligated to at least try once.
Oh, definitely.
So what will happen is I think Jacob and I will each have to buy a standardized deck eventually when it comes out. Like whatever opening deck. I don't imagine me spending more money on card games than I already am. So I think it should be fun one day if we could just maybe figure out a way to put that together and play a match.
For sure. I've never really been at like the release stage of a collectible card game.
Yeah.
So I can see myself going a little bit I want to beat you. I'm gonna get some boosters.
Yeah, I don't know
my
if
base
we could
standard
do
pack.
anything content-wise. I don't know. I have to talk to you off, Mike. Maybe we'd be down to stream it, see if anybody wants to join us and see what this card game looks like. I don't know, dude. But I saw
that would
it.
be fun.
Yeah,
I feel like as far as as a niche thing, if someone wanted to like see two people that know a little bit about card games like play a new one, I feel like we could potentially serve up that need.
Yeah, so I have to look at it, figure out how we're going to get our hands on these decks. I mean, if it's anything like the Digimon card game that I'm into, it took a long time to figure out how to get these things, so I might have to do some research. But this is months away. I think the Japanese release is in June, and the U.S. release, I mean, if that's in June, then I imagine, I don't know, June, July, August, maybe August, September is when we'll see our English release.
All right. No, that's exciting, though.
Yeah, I just wanted to toss that out there. Be a shill for Bandai and One Piece, even though we are getting zero money from either company.
That's right. We're spending money to them in order to provide content that encourages the purchases of further products by other people, including ourselves. So
yes,
we're in the hole, but we are enjoying it.
Oh, we like this One Piece hole. It feels comfy. There's company. Let me read this itinerary for the rest of the folks now.
All right.
We open on the
what's the name of the chapter?
Oh, right. We open chapter 36, After Them.
After Them.
After who? Well, this first panel opens with the Food Boys and Kaya running through the woods. The Food Boys confident in their abilities to be safe now because nobody knows these woods better than natives to this island.
On their own terrain.
Yeah, on their own terrain until buzz. We just hear a buzz and a chop of the forest. And who is it other than Django, who has zero intention of walking through this forest. What he's gonna do is he's just gonna chop down the forest, be a one-man lumberyard, cut down this forest, and eventually he's gonna find them. The logic works out, right, Jacob? The logic works.
Yeah, it's good.
And then he mentions it last chapter, but the one tree that he could not chop down was Luffy's head. Like if he's throwing these shock rooms at the like the velocity he's knocking down trees at, Luffy is a different animal, as he noted in the last chapter, apparently.
Definitely.
Yeah, and we jump back to the slope where Kuro is just taunting Usopp, saying like, I know how weak Kaya is. They're not getting far. You know, Jingo's gonna catch him eventually because they can hear the buzz. They hear the buzz from far away, which is ridiculous. Like, are they spinning? What's going on? Like, how are these things buzzing that loud? Are they motorized? What's happening? Usopp begs Kuro, asking him like, how could you do this to her? You lived with her for 3 years and you have zero empathy for her. And he's like, no, I have zero. I'm gonna kill her.
Cold.
Yeah, and when I kill her and I get her money, I will thank her. What makes Usopp very angry. Zoro and Luffy make a comment about how irredeemable that is for him to say, like, he's a cold man. He is a villain of any villain so far in One Piece. Zoro tries to say that he's going to try and catch up Captain Kuro's kind of six Butchie on him again. Zoro fights Butchie, puts him on the floor. He's like, yo, you stay out of my way or else I'm going to, like, make sure you don't get up.
Zoro's getting tired of this Butchie nonsense.
Right, exactly. Usopp gets up, though. This is a really cool thing. Usopp's like, I need to go save my boys now because they are in trouble. His original plan was to send them to the forest. He thought it was safe. But now, you know, hearing the violence across the way, he's like, I need to go do something. So he gets up, but he can't. Like, he can't move very fast, and he falls down face first, butt up onto the... Right, butt up into the floor because his body's broken at this point. He can't do it. Usopp is holding Butchie down. Zoro is holding Butchie down and all that good stuff. Usopp falling down makes Kuro laugh. He laughs very hard, calls him pathetic, all these bad names, and all that stuff. Usopp wants
Someone's not going to take that.
Yeah, Usopp's not right. And then after that, like, Zoro and Luffy notice, like, it's really sad. They're making fun of him. Butchie takes that moment of weakness, knocks Zoro off, gets up. At the same time, the pirates by Luffy start laughing at Usopp for being pathetic and crying and not move. And then, Luffy throws a rock at them. A giant rock, may I add, which just does not pretty funny. Pretty great. It was a good moment. Usopp gets one cool moment again where he screams that he is a warrior of the sea. And it is his job to protect his crew and protect his village from all these things and all that stuff. But Kuro laughs and it doesn't do anything. Zoro defeats Butchie. There's a lot to this chapter. I'm sorry. I'm looking at my summary and I'm like, there's 2 pages to this. Zoro defeats Butchie finally because Butchie gets in his way again. And he goes, yo, I'm going to pick up Usopp and I'm going to chase after him. I'm going to chase after the food boys and Kaya in there. And Kuro goes, I didn't allow you to leave. Who gave you permission? And then we get the cool Luffy moment, and Luffy goes, I did, and Luffy throws a punch at Kuro, and then the fight starts there. So they start that fight. Yes. Kuro starts the fight. Zoro, Usopp gets to run into the forest to go after Kaya, the food boys, and Jingo. And right before we end the chapter, Kuro goes, why do you even care about this, Luffy? And Luffy gets that cool line of, well, there's somebody in this village that I don't want you to kill. And that's enough for me to fight. So they start their fight. The end of this chapter, Kaya has Kuro's prediction, is exhausted, can't run anymore. And the food boys are like, dang, we have to run. And then Django shows up and goes,
why is Kuro the only one that understands how asthma works?
Yes. Yes, obviously. That is this chapter. There's a lot within these, like,
I know. It's almost like a summary needs a summary in some sort of way, right?
Yeah, there's like
Kuro and Luffy, they start fighting. Kaya collapses. We're things have moved along, but nothing too much has changed, right? Except that we actually have, like,
the pieces.
What I would say is the fight we've been waiting for, kind of going on, and then Zoro is carrying Usopp, which is, like, that's a new thing. Is now that, like, I don't really think, is there anybody left with Luffy to fight Kuro, right?
Yeah, Nami's knocked out in the bottom, or just hurt at the bottom. Yeah. But so who knows?
Besides that, the crew's gone, right? It's kind of, I feel like, I don't know. This begs to the I feel like the real fight that we've kind of been promised.
And it's cool. We get our cool shonen moments here. I think a few shonen moments show up in this one, like a shonen spotlight. Like every person, every character, every good guy at least gets a moment to show off their fighting spirit. And this is definitely an Usopp fighting spirit moment, right? Pretty much he gets to proclaim all of his wants and wills in this moment. But before we dive deeper into that, I wanna point out a small thing, and I have to ask you, is that did you notice the cover art of this chapter?
I did. This is the chapter 36. After them has the cover art for Buggy's crew after the battle, right? Part 2. Yeah. So it's I guess the events of we're actually kind of getting what happened to Buggy's crew a long while ago, right? Just kind of in a one panel quick version of what's happening. And the cover art for the previous chapter was in a similar vein, right?
Yeah, the cover art was Buggy, like Chibi Buggy, which I still need to draw for our listener Peter.
Exactly. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Get on that, Eric.
I was working on it the other day. I swear, it was ugly, and I didn't like what it looked like. So I got to spend more time.
It better have been in constant work since we've ordered it from you.
But yeah, we have Chibi Buggy running away from a bunch of sharks, and and we didn't get a chance to talk about it because I really wanted to save it for this segment. But I like that in that last chapter, the shark has one of the sharks has, sharks or piranha fish has like a eye patch. Which I thought was like such a fun little character thing to add. Like Oda's so good at just tickling the imagination, man. Like, why does he have an eye patch? I wonder if they're like a little fish crew.
That is really cool. I'm just flipping back to see that. Yep, he's got a good old eye patch.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Isn't that cute? But I bring this up because the cover art stories are gonna start being a thing. Like they're gonna be a canon, like small stories that he tells in a few parts. That are happening either, like you suggested, before or at the same time, and they're going to be relevant to the story.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Isn't that neat?
No, because I mean, we're getting like almost, now this is like a cool way that you can have two different paces of two different stories being told simultaneously.
Yeah. So we're going to see now, like what he's hinting at, we're going to see a little arc of the Buggy Pirates.
Dang.
Yeah, so these next few chapters, pay attention, and you're going to see a story evolve.
Okay.
And
what I've seen so far, right, we just got them both fleeing to some extent from where they were before.
Right, the village, which is like all establishing shots, as we know. But he finds a way to tell like these little cool stories. I think it's so creative. Like, what a fun way to like, it makes the world like. Sometimes
it's especially creative because we're seeing it being built up. Like for us, I mean, it's not as real time as it was, but these are ideas that Oda is playing with, like, in the comic form, right? In the manga form, right then, right? Because, he didn't know. We know because we seen the previous cover arts were not like that, right? No, and now they're here, and now we're like, oh no, he found that this is a cool thing to keep doing. It's awesome.
Yeah, and it's like I was going to mention, it's a fun way to spread the world building, right? Like. It's one thing to experience the world of One Piece through the like Straw Hat Pirates and through Luffy's eyes, but it's cool with these cover arts that we're gonna start seeing the world expand through like the eyes of different characters and different things that we've been introduced to. It makes the world feel more like it's living and breathing outside of our main crew, right? Like the world outside of the Straw Hat Pirates are. Like it's breathing and it's moving on its own. And then we get to see them collide later, which I hope pays off for you, because I know it paid off for me when I first started experiencing it. But yeah.
No, cool. It's probably one of those things that would have caught me a little off guard, depending on how intricate the opening panels get. Because so far, I did not know they were going to continue. I was like, oh, okay, I see he's trying this out. It's a little bit of funniness, a little bit of reminder of where you came from, right? But, when we start getting some of the more details about what's going to happen to Buggy's crew, then I would have been like, oh no, this is a thing, right? And then we'll see how it goes. I'm excited.
Yeah, so I'm letting you know early because it took me almost 200 or 300 chapters for me to notice that it was canonical, that it mattered. Yeah,
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
No, this is it. This is the advantage of a tour guide, everybody. So you don't have to. Don't have to feel like you have to be like, oh no, and then like face palm and then go back and look at the details.
And then before we move on for this cover art, I think my favorite detail is that Chow Chow is biting on Mohi's butt.
That's right.
How great is that? Chow Chow. Like, it's like a little redemption, dude. Like there's my Chow Chow getting his thing, man, getting his moment.
Oh, that is wonderful.
Isn't it? It's so good. There's so much goodness.
I still think my favorite character is I always forget his name. The man in the chest.
Oh yes, what is his? Man, that was so long ago.
We can follow up later, but everyone knows who we're talking about. Guy on an island, alone in his chest. Great character.
I have
Chow Chow.
Gaimon,
cool. Gaimon and Chow Chow, they're up there on my list.
Yeah, which I'm sure that we might actually. I mean, the way these cover arts go, there's a chance that we might Who knows?
Gaimon.
Who knows?
Yes.
Who knows, man? All right, let's get into the actual nitty gritty outside of the cover art after I'm done geeking out about that, because I don't know if anybody else who does that specifically, but he was the first one who's done it, which I think is really.
Oh yeah,
really
no,
cool.
and this is all quite a while ago too, right? Like I don't know what year we're in exactly, but I don't know.
98, 99.
97, 8? Yeah, somewhere over there.
Yeah,
Very
I think
cool.
we get
and
because
we did cross into volume 4. We crossed into volume 5 was the other thing that I wanted to mention, which is just kind of not that it matters too much for us and what's going on, but I always find it interesting. Oh, flip the page, you're like, oh, volume 5, for whom the bell tolls. Big, look of a smiling Captain Kuro. But no, yeah,
that's cool because you have the book version. I have the digital version.
Yes,
so.
I do have the book version. So I think they wanted to mark that you've made it into the next volume somehow.
I love that.
And I got like a reintroduction of all the characters, which is almost the same as like volume 4, but a little more detailed.
Right.
But no, it's just kind of cool to see how far we've come.
Yeah.
That said, we gotta dive into here.
Yeah.
I think I want to bring up is the not an ounce. Like, so that is the words that Captain Kuro uses in response to
Usopp's question.
Don't you have an ounce of feeling for her? And then just so fast, not a hesitation, no exclamation point, just a period, not an ounce.
Yeah.
Not an ounce. Like oh my gosh.
It's a fact.
Yeah. No, just like, no, yeah, not an ounce. And then, I think you mentioned this in your recap, you unredeemable scoundrel. Like,
yeah.
It didn't need to be said, but oh my goodness, yes. Like, It is a very, like, I mean, because for a long time, I was rooting for some version of a Captain Kuro redemption arc. And I know we've so clearly gone beyond that, but, like, he just keeps rubbing it in, keeps rubbing the salt into the wounds. Like, you thought I was somewhat redeemable. You were just completely wrong, Mr. Jacob. Unknown middle name, Jarecki.
I'm putting way too much emphasis on this, but he seems like a person who's been cold his whole life, and he's realized the only way to really get people to realize that he's not kidding is just to be really open about it, right? It's just like go straight to the point. It's like I told you my plan. Like she's a pawn. Like what part? I know you don't get it. I spent my whole life dealing with people like you with feelings. Ugh, not an ounce. Like period.
I like it.
Yeah.
No, it's a good read. I feel like, you're ready to now method act Captain Kuro.
I am. I'm ready to play him in a live action mid adaptation.
Is Netflix got something coming? Has there been any live action attempts at One Piece?
Yeah, Netflix is doing it, but I don't know if they've done it before.
They're doing it. Okay.
Yeah, they are doing it. They've released like casting and all that fun stuff too.
Oh, okay.
So they're doing that. I have no idea who they're going to feature and what it even is going to look like. I don't know. Live action adaptations of animes are always so interesting, so we have to wait and see. As far as I know, Detective Pikachu is probably the only one I've ever thought of as like even kind of getting there.
And that's okay. No, it's interesting.
Yeah,
I'll have to go watch it. I have not seen Detective Pikachu.
It's a good watch. It's fun. It's a fun little watch.
Okay.
All right. So I think you kind of brought it up, and I'm just putting the fight on the slope because we're still on the slope and we're fighting more now.
That's right.
I agree with you from last chapter about like all these different hurdles and all these things that have to go. In this chapter, Butchie is straight up just a hurdle. Like, he is a metaphorical hurdle in the way. Like, he's just in the way for our main characters to jump through.
In the way multiple times. Yeah. He just can't stay down.
He can't stay down.
It's not like Zoro even has to do anything too interesting to take him out this time.
Like
it looks cool when he has a big splash page, or slish.
But it's not even it's not even a full page slash anymore. This is a half page slash. I'm amazed to even get a half page. Like a 1 page, right? It's not a 2-page spread. It's just a 1-page spread of him slashing.
Just a 1-page spread. Yeah.
Which is whatever. I think
maybe Eiichiro Oda really liked drawing Butchie because he hasn't drawn Butchie's partner in a long time, but Butchie's been sticking around.
Butchie has been sticking around. This weird cat man, this chubby cat man with the bell. I think like the biggest thing that we can chat about in this chapter is Usopp's big one more push for his fighting spirit, right? One more thing to establish that he is cool. And I think it is very kind of poetic that we have him in this really goofy position of his butt in the air, face on the floor. Yeah. And he is a man who, I was thinking about it, he's like the Batman of the Justice League. Like, this man doesn't have that many superpowers, right? Like, he doesn't have very superpowers. Really, his one superpower is that he's very good at shooting. Like, he's a sharpshooter. But he's not very brave. He's kind of cowardice, and he's not very strong. But I think that's what gets you to appreciate his heroicness in this moment of, like, I know I gotta do something, but his body physically can't. And, to hear the bad guys openly laugh at him about how pathetic he is and all these things, it does tick off Zoro, and it does tick off Luffy.
Yeah, and no, like you said, that rock comes in, and you just think Luffy picked up a rock somewhere and chucked it down, right?
Yeah.
No, it's a bit jarring because like this is a definitely you put it together yourself sort of moment.
Yeah.
You have Usopp on the ground laughing, and then rock, and like I guess the you have the laugh at Usopp again line from, but before that you're just like, whoa, rock, and then it's cool.
Yeah,
like,
and it's just fun to
putting the puzzle together there.
Yeah, and it's really fun to see Luffy go like, you don't laugh at him because I'm gonna come after you. And like yes, that's a monster standing in front of you too, right? Like there's monsters on the battlefield now, so any normal human needs to please sit down, like stay humble, please. Yes. It's one of those things. But then I also wrote down Usopp's moment here sounds like somebody might align with a certain pirate crew culture, if you ask me. And I'm gonna push my glasses up visually, my anime thing. Whoa, someone might fit into a specific crew culture of this manga, which Luffy alludes to at the end of this chapter.
Yeah. So in the illusion you're talking about is the
It's just his fighting spirit, right? Usopp is straight up saying, like, I believe in this one thing, and I am a warrior, right? And this is important to me, protecting the people I love. That sounds very similar to what... Protecting my treasure.
No.
Yeah, right? So
gotcha.
it's...
No, and I think specifically there's someone in this village I don't want you to kill, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I was going to bring that up as a possible discussion point. Like, I mean, I think there are also... It's kind of an interesting line, because there's definitely, I think, multiple people Luffy doesn't want him to kill, but there's one that he cares about the most, and I think it's Usopp, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's in the beginning of this chapter. Remember, it starts with Usopp being like, I'll take you guys as my crew, right? Like, I'll be the captain of your crew sort of deal. And then, it's just one of those things that we talked about too, because we're still building out Luffy's crew. Like, he has to be... Like, Luffy has a vetting process. He has an interview process, right? It's not a typical resume cover letter sort of deal. But it's obviously... his resume cover letter deal is getting your butt beat, and then, like... Are you going to stand by your morals? Like, are you going to stand by the things you say are important?
It's also funny that you say we're in this process of, like, interesting things that you probably only know on hindsight is that Luffy is in the process of building his crew. Like, I know, theoretically, Luffy doesn't have enough crew, right? But I also don't have any vision for, like, how big later Luffy's boat is or how big his crew is going to amass to, Which makes it, like... I don't have as good of a feel that, like, he is, like, really, like, looking for crew members, right? I know he is. And I know he's going to find more. And it's obvious that, like, it probably would be foolish to have arcs of this length in One Piece that don't result at this point in the addition of any crew members. Yeah. But my mind, is just kind of starting to put that together. Like, of course,
Right.
Very cool.
Yeah. So that was really cool. It was just a good moment for Usopp, I think. Just another one. And I also love the moment of, like, Zoro's like, I'm gonna carry you. But also at one point I was like, that's just him being manly. But no, there's a practical reason.
Oh, yeah.
Zolo has no sense of direction. So he needs...
East.
Yeah, right. He gets that fun joke where he's like, where's East?
Well, and it's cool because I think this is one of the commonalities between Luffy and Zoro in regards to not being able to navigate. And then we had... Luffy, it's funny, on this island, right?
Yeah.
Trying to go north. All right?
Yes.
And wait, oh my goodness, what were they running from at that point?
They're running to get back to this beach. They're running to this beach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
No. It's just funny. It feels like so long ago.
Well, for us, yes, because we're
the
way we're reading it and the way we're recording, definitely. But overall, like, even in the length of the story, it is. I have a question for you, but this fight that we're coming up to, Captain Kuro versus Luffy, do we think this is going to be like the first sweat on his eyebrow sort of fight for Luffy? Like hardest one so far?
I kind of hope it is, just because of how menacing, like, it would be disappointing if it wasn't for some reason. You know what I mean?
No,
so that's kind of what, it's almost like a expectation at this point that it's also with how much planning Captain Kuro seems to be capable of.
Yeah.
Capable of. That's a word.
Yeah.
It would seem odd if Luffy's ability could really pull a fast one on Kuro in a way that he hadn't at least considered. Especially since he's already, like, it wasn't like Luffy took him, you know, to be honest, Luffy really hasn't defeated anybody by taking them off guard and then just beating them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's usually he takes them off guard and then they get to fight. You know, it's almost like Luffy won't finish the fight unhonorably, right? There will always be full chance by the enemy to do whatever they need to do. And so we haven't seen that yet. We did see a little bit of Luffy, though, because he got to do a new Gum Gum ability.
Yeah,
Gum Gum Spear.
And I was gonna talk in this next segment. I was gonna talk a little bit about this fight. First off, I think leading into this fight is super cool. I think Zolo carrying Usopp, walking past, and you get that frame, the panel in the middle there, where he's carrying him already, and then we get this like low angle panel. We get Zolo and Usopp in the frame, and then we also get a majority of it's Koro kind of like clapping his hands together, ready for a fight, and we get the dialogue. So boy, who gave you permission to climb this slope? So freaking good. Like, frightening. And then you get the answer, which is the next panel directly, which is Luffy saying, I did. And then we get the swing. And now the fight starts. So bringing on this fight. Already so far, which I think is cool and so cool of Oda, is he swings once, like Luffy throws one punch, and then he throws another punch, like a double punch, right? And just to establish, like, I think this is what makes me think that this might be a tough fight for Luffy, because he's never fought somebody this agile. This guy's so quick, right? He's a lot faster than the other guys. Almost like Dragon Ball Z fast, where you don't see him. If you blink your eyes, he's too fast, right? Sort of deal. But I like it, right? He throws a punch, he throws a double punch to kind of to anticipate the dodge. But Koro, like, fast, or cat steps, what's it called? Pussyfoot maneuvers behind him.
There we go.
Right. And then we get this cool thing that he swipes at Luffy with Luffy dodge, and then we go to what you were mentioning is he claps his feet together. He does what was it, Jacob? What's he call it?
Gum Gum Spear.
Yeah, and this is our first time seeing it. Yeah, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's funny. No, it's interesting. No, this is also another thing that in hindsight probably makes more sense to you. Right now, I think in general, Luffy doing a Gum Gum move, it's more often to be a new Gum Gum move than not.
Oh, you know that's true. That is true.
Like, where you're at, you might be like, I don't know, maybe you've seen Gum Gum Spear like 10 times, but like, I've seen most Gum Gum moves once. You know what I mean? Like, some of them, I guess the other thing is he doesn't always call them out. Like, I mean, you might say that the first ones were Gum Gum pistols with those punches, but I don't know. I feel like if they're not announced, in my little head canon, I'm not considering them official Gum Gum moves, but maybe it counts.
It's not emotion input in your head. You're not doing a Hadouken, right? It's like, it's not emotion input. Like, this one's obviously a charge. No,
yeah. It doesn't have
it.
Yeah, this is the real deal here. This is it had the build up with the like you said, the feet, which are just, you know, adorned in the wonderful Luffy sandals coming together, and ultimately doesn't land a hit though, right? Yeah.
No, because this is again what we were talking about before. This is a lot of like, what can this person do? What can I do? Right. This is like the start of any fight.
You're reading too much One Piece if you're starting to make jokes like that.
No, got it. It's just like kind of the start, the kind of seeing, and which I kind of like. After this interaction, we get the dialogue of like, why you have no dog in this fight. Literally, like, you are an outsider. He calls out. Why do you care? Why do you care about any of this? Which is fair. Like we mentioned, like Luffy and them just show up on these islands. Most of the times, they don't need to interact with most of the things happening in island per island, which is kind of cool that we get that, you know, that foreshadow of like, well, there's somebody here I don't want you to kill, right? Yeah. And then in my head, Luffy didn't really decide that officially till this moment. Maybe he decided that they were like he wasn't gonna let bad things happen in this island, but the recruiting of Usopp, I don't think he decided till right now, till this chapter.
Gotcha. No, I like it. It's calling the inner state of Luffy's head, you know.
I know.
Which
who knows?
Is pretty wild. I mean, there's a lot going on in there, but then there's like also not a lot going on in there at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. Very natural. Probably, I think that leads to a good defense of your argument. If Luffy hasn't said it yet, it probably hasn't occurred to Luffy.
You're right, exactly. If he didn't say it out loud, if he didn't make the decision, that he just didn't notice it or didn't care, right?
Exactly. So there we go. I fully support your theory.
Yes, but it's cool. We get the end of this interaction. We get this really cool freeze frame of like Koro with his claws out, and then Luffy holding his arm ready to fight. We also get a payoff of. I just have to say, we get the payoff of earlier when Usopp was like, what do you guys do? And Luffy goes, I stretch, I cut, and then, I steal. We got those paid off. Like, they're paid off at this point. Right? Nami stole those swords to give back to Zolo. Right? Zolo has definitely cut He has cut Butchie. He has cut the other one. I forgot what the other one was named. The skinny ones.
Oh, not Siam, right?
It might have been.
Okay, we'll put that as a tentative.
Yeah, I mean, I can look at my notes and figure it out too.
No, and like we said, we haven't seen that character in a while.
I know.
Butchie was the favorite. I would never have known.
Right. Well, Butchie was the one who, because of his blubber, he didn't cut deep enough, right? So he got hypnotized. Yeah, man. I mean, like, that's kind of what's happening here. It's a setup. Again, I feel like we've been talking about a setup chapter over and over again, but things are going to go. I'm not sure how much longer we have in this arc. I think it ends at 41, so that's what we're looking at.
Okay.
Why is here? So we have, like, 5-ish chapters left.
No, that is that's it. It would have been funny. Like if you would have told me at the start of the fight, which I don't know what chapter it was that we had until 41, I would have been like, whoa.
I think I might have. We might have to go listen to our old thing, and I think you definitely did.
Yeah. I didn't process in my brain how many chapters that correlated to.
Right. Do you have anything else you want to chat about, or should we do some ha-has?
I do kind of just a small little moment about Django using not exactly sure the official name of them. I think he's called them stars at some point. I think he's called them chakrams at other points to cut down the area of the forest, right?
Yeah.
It feels very like when we mentioned that this is kind of the food boys' turf, the food gang. Mm-hmm. I actually never thought about it as tragic, but like I wonder how much later on. Sometimes we get like a overview of the destruction. Yeah. I wonder how much of this forest is going away, and how much of like. I wonder if we're gonna have like this little sad moment with the food gang kind of being like, this place, like a part of their home is being taken away, right? Like the people are still all there, they're okay, but there's definitely damage to the place where they live, and I hadn't quite. I don't know if that's gonna be like a subtle processing thing later, or it maybe might not come up. It might not be too important, but
it's
that was
also,
one thing that's been going through my mind.
I'm glad that you brought it up, because it's like we've seen the destruction that these crews do when they raid a village. When they raid an island, right?
Yeah.
Because the Buggy, like, look at what Buggy did. Like, he leveled sections of a town.
No, and we did get a huge payoff for that, right? Because they talked about how they built a town in the past, and now they rebuilt it again. Now they're going to have to do it again, right? Yeah. So it's like...
Yeah, this village is so much smaller. And, like, that's why you get the feeling of what Usopp is saying when he's saying, like, I'm going to protect this village, because it can't handle this level of destruction. If Jingle does this by himself, my God, like this Captain Coral crew is huge. There's so many people. Yeah. That boat is gigantic.
No, and this is actually like, I mean, we'll have to kind of like put this down in our heads to note as we go on. I'm going to put this as like an Eiichiro Oda general theme that he just is hearkening back to consistently. Yeah. Like, we've seen some big themes for the arcs, but also this is now kind of like a consistent subtler theme of rebuilding. Like, what does it mean to have it like towns and rebuilding, because we see so many towns and so many rebuilding because of the destruction is an interesting thing. And I wonder, this might at some point require a little bit of history from one of us to go do a little bit of research. Is like, is there some reason Oda is attracted to that idea? Are there towns in Japan that have been leveled for various reasons that
we know for sure
knows about, or that
they have?
Oh no, we know for sure. I wonder if there's like any, I wonder if there's some specific examples in his life he's drawing from, though.
Oh, yeah. And I think that whole theme of rebuilding stuff is a very Japanese thing, too, right? Just in general, because I know that they, at least in like, from the 40s on, like, can't you imagine? It was a lot of rebuilding and a lot of reestablishing themselves. And I think those effects, like, it may not have affected Oda directly, but that has to have affected his parents or his grandparents for sure. So I think those themes are definitely being shown here, which I think I have to applaud you. That's a very tour guide thing to kind of compare size, to bring up as a metaphor, because you definitely see that, right? Like, there is a lot of stories, and now that when you said it, I was thinking about, there's a lot of stories about rebuilding and how you pick yourself up from tragic moments. A lot of One Piece is dealing with tragedies in your life, and how those tragedies shape you, and how you want who you're going to become after said tragedies. And that's the type of person, the type of man that you want to be. Like, that's what defines you as your person. I know. I can already think of a bunch of different stories.
Oh, okay, no, that's cool to know.
Later on, that's a sole focus. This one, we already talked about, it is the sole focus of lies, and seeing how lies and the lies that we tell ourselves to get through different things, which I don't think is completely done yet either. I know we're in like little action pieces here and all this stuff. I mean,
my goodness, are we gonna get some more unraveling? Like, it's almost at this point. I thought it almost feels like plot twist should be done, but maybe not. Oh man! Oh goodness!
So I do think there's one more, at least.
Oh well,
in my head.
Still,
one
more at least. I feel like that probably means there's 5, and then I'm just kidding.
But it's great. This whole chapter, I mean, this one is not, it didn't hit as hard as the last chapter. I love that we're talking this much about it, though, because now I'm liking it a bit more. I just think it's so silly that Django throws that thing so hard that it's chopping down multiple trees. And do they loop back around? Like, are they boomerangs, too? Like, what the heck is happening here, right? Like,
that's a good point. I don't think we've actually had, like, you know, Oda actually usually goes out of his way to explain that sort of stuff. Like, we get a top-down shot. We'd see, like, the arc of it going around.
Yeah.
We haven't had one of those yet, so maybe he just felt like he didn't have the time. Or maybe it is explained, like, maybe if we're visually looking enough. Because I know they're kind of like a part of his jacket, right?
Yeah,
so
they might. Maybe he has, like, a bunch.
I don't know if... Yeah, well, I don't know. I think... Oh, wait. I don't know if this is a thing, but... Oh, where is it? Can you see his jacket there in this panel? You might be able to pull it up on yours, too.
Yeah.
That one half of his jacket doesn't have them.
Oh, like the little ringy things?
The ringy things.
Oh, you think
one half of his jacket doesn't have them, and I think if those are them, that would imply that he's thrown one half of his jacket's worth of those things.
Oh, potentially. I wish I'm looking at
and just with Oda's attention to detail, I guess we just have to flip back and find a picture of
old chapters to see if we see him full. Because he starts off with the chapter with all of them. I mean, with half of the half already missing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm trying to see if I can pull up a picture of old Django and whether he has them all. I think we'll do that maybe in follow up for next episode, just so we can be a little more sure about it. But that would be interesting. It could just be a look. Maybe he just has always had half. You know what? I found an old example of him where it just looks like he has half, which maybe implies his preferred throwing arm or something like that, more so than the number that he has. No. It was a nice reach.
It was a nice reach. I think we tried.
You don't always grab gold.
You don't always grab gold. The 49ers taught me that. Not the team, the actual 49ers, right? Because
they didn't always get.
A lot of people died poor, tragically.
In San Francisco.
Yes. The Sisters Brothers.
The deep north. I don't know.
All right. Let's jump into this joke section. Let's talk about some OP jokes, man. OP got jokes.
Oh, yeah. I don't have too many. I just wanted to go with, I'll give it a nice buzz cut.
Oh, my God. That made you chuckle?
Oh, yeah. It gave me a little chuckle. I also, it ties in a little bit what we were talking about with the forest getting leveled,
the deforestation that he's doing by himself.
Yeah.
This man,
Deforestation.
Yeah. I laughed at. I definitely laughed at the rock being thrown. It was just such a Luffy move to be like, shut up.
Oh yeah, especially the size of that rock, right? Like if you want to intimidate somebody, you're just like. Whoop.
They're all just so scared. I think they forgot where they were for a moment there. And then the other one you mentioned it, I totally forgot about it. Is the east. Which way is east? You need to tell me which way is east. Yeah. Turn left, or I forgot what he says, but he's like, then turn left, you idiot.
Go back around? No.
Yeah, so great because he's terrible at directions. How did he even make his way to the beach? Because he had to come afterwards, right? Because he was stuck. Remember, he was stuck in the grease trap for a while.
Oh, that's a good point. Because they were. Maybe that was one where you could just follow the coast because you could see it from where you were.
Oh, fair.
Yeah, no, but it's a good question. I wouldn't put it beyond Luffy and or Zoro to even not be able to manage that. So, but maybe it's if they can see it, they can manage it.
I love the logic. If I can see it, then I could get there.
Yeah,
it's that open world video game feel.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Is that logic?
Playing Elden Ring?
Yeah, many hours at this point. Shall we get to our fight? Shall we fight each other?
It is time to fight. It is time to engage in the panel battle. Indeed, this is the section of the podcast where Eric and I adopt accents that are vaguely French, and I don't know what I've fallen into now, and I'm going to stop it. We take a panel that spoke to us, a panel that was our favorite, the panel that we're going to put up for contention against our fellow podcasters panel, tour guide versus tourist, and we don't want the fight to stop there. We want it to expand out until, anybody involved in any sort of field in transportation and vacation hospitality business is also involved. We want you to write in to grandlinetourist@gmail.com. Before the chapter airs, before an episode on a chapter, we can include you in the fight. Afterwards, you can, throw in your panel that is clearly better, and we will bow our heads and our hats to you in respect. That
Jacob,
said,
I'm gonna go first because I just made an audible. I just changed my choice, of panel, and I'm gonna show you
an audible.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, the 49ers throwing audibles. Okay.
Oh, look at that. We're paying off our bits.
We got Usopp, face on the ground, head tilted because his, body position, I think his butt's in the air at this moment, right?
Yeah, his rump is in the air.
Yeah. Butt's in the air, so, neck's forward, but head is tilted on the ground, and it says, doesn't matter, gotta protect them. I gotta protect those kids. You know what? I've seen these a couple times now, and I really like them. It's when they have, I guess if someone's breathing really heavy, Oda will draw, the puffs of breath in the air, and they sort of distort the visual of what's going on behind it, which is unlike, I've never seen that in my real life, but it's so cool. I wish my breath floating in the air distorted what's going on. But no, he's just beaten up. He's got his, he doesn't always wear those glasses, right? Or does he always wear them?
He only wears them when he's trying to shoot, when he's fighting.
Yeah, okay, he's got them on for slingshot purposes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's got those on, tears in his eyes. Blood all over his face. Snot coming out his nose. My goodness.
I just love all of it. And he is such a, I don't know, I don't remember if I said it in this arc already, but comedy is just tragedy plus time, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And, Usopp is by more or less any measure the comedy relief or the comedic relief of this panel, of this arc, of the crew. Assuming that he gets through his recruitment process. But it's
spoilers from the. I'm just kidding.
And I think it's so cool to see him in this ridiculous pose, still saying something so heroic in this moment. And I think that's when I finally, I was turning to my actual choice, and then I decided, no, I got to go with this panel. We got to do this because, like you said, Oda is so good at drawing such ugly, sad faces.
Yeah, I was just going to say that the fact that even on this extreme close-up on Usopp's face, you can still realize, just because of the angle of the neck to the shoulder, that his butt's in the air is... Because you wouldn't even think about that initially. You'd just be like, oh man, look at this poor beat up Usopp kid. But if you just apply your knowledge of what's happened, you're like, oh, this only looks so intense because of the zoom up. And if we were to zoom it out a little bit, it would look much less intense. And much more, kind of that tragic funny, that what you were saying there.
It is that tragic funny thing where he exists, where no one's ever treated him no one's given him the respect. That's why he is the way he is, right? They've always treated him like this, and but he doesn't care. He knows what he has to do at this moment, even if his body won't let him do it. And I think this is and then afterwards you get a few reaction shots from Kuro, you get one from Zolo, and then you get that scrunched up, almost gonna cry face from Luffy, which is probably his this is my man.
Yeah,
this is my boy. Yeah, and my boy.
All right, all right. We're done sticking our eyes upon the awkward positions of Usopp, and it's time to stick our eyes on another panel picked by me. Go ahead and open it up. It is the top panel on this page that you will see.
Ooh, the anticipation of the move. Oh no, this is the afterwork. The top panel. Right?
Exactly wrong, and then exactly right, Eric. Yeah, this is the post panel after the
Gum Spear. Spear. This is right after the Gum Spear. Luffy shot his spear out, and from the angle, it looks like a very far angle. In the angle, we have center panel. We have Luffy doing a handstand with his foot all the way, with his feet and legs stretched all the way out like a spear, like piercing towards the empty sky, because obviously Kuro with his pussyfoot maneuver has moved around it, and Luffy is saying, "Hey, he disappeared again." But this is cool because this is the top of the slope, so you actually get to see the slope going down, right?
That's true.
Yeah, the slope is going down, and we know we're at the top now. And we get to see some. I don't know if those are birds in the sky. There's something in the air. And the trees on either side.
No, for me, this came down to, I think the benefit of having Luffy be stretchy is because you can basically draw your vanishing, you can draw your perspective lines and have a reason to draw them, right?
Ooh,
for all intents and purposes, Luffy's feet are going out nearly to infinity in this panel, and it just. If you cut off the feet, this would be just like a normal handstand, right?
Yep.
And then if your eyes are going from top to bottom, you get to those feet and you're like, no, those feet are miles away, and like it's just such a. It just makes it One Piece, you know. It makes it Luffy, you know. Like I feel like there are other panels from future chapters you could show me, and I would know what I'm dealing with because of it. That's a stretching panel. That's Luffy. That's something that's miles away, right?
Yeah.
And so actually, for me, it's kind of funny. I almost root for Luffy to miss so I can see panels like this. You know? If he lands the punches, then they stop short, you know? Sometimes they go through and they still go far, so
yeah.
Fair enough.
There's a good chat. I'm excited for this fight. I don't remember how it goes. I mean, I know the result, obviously, but I don't remember the in-betweens and the over-analysis of what's going to happen between these two. Because, like, I do expect there to be more strategic moves knowing who Koro is. Like, what's Koro going to do to deal with this? To deal with Luffy right now? What's he going to do?
Yeah, no, well, the one thing that we kind of, I think we theorized, we've mentioned it before. Luffy... Well, I guess what he took to the back of the head does put a little bit of a hole in the theory of like, oh, Luffy can be cut. Yeah. You know, we have this idea of stretchiness, cuttiness. We have these claws that might, be able to do some damage to Luffy. And but we did have something go in the back of Luffy's head. His head must be, decently rubbery, thick. You know, it's a little bit up in the air at certain points, but it'll be interesting to see what claws versus stretch, what happens. It's claws plus the ability to move like completely
fast
without recognition. You know?
Yeah. So I'm expecting a lot of like predictive movements from Luffy. Maybe he's like predicting where Kuro's gonna end up. So
I know it's funny. I kind of almost forgot a haha here. Like in the next panel, it's like after mine. It says, "Oh well, Zolo got off the slope." You know?
Yeah.
It's almost like now that Kuro has disappeared for a moment, Luffy's assumed he's disappeared forever. Like I don't know if that's the proper read of it, but that's kind of like a weird thought that I've had.
The line.
What'd you take it as?
I took the line as him saying, "You said you were gonna stop him, but you didn't." Right? Like, because earlier Koro was like, "You need to get through this slope." Like the table starts, you need to go through this slope to go save Kaya, right? And then Luffy is essentially like, "I beat you there. Like, let's go. Like, this is it."
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I had the weird, like, I think I took the depths of Luffy's possible ignorance and stupidity far too far, to the point where Luffy didn't see Kuro for half a second and assumed, well, I guess we're done fighting. We're done.
Because like the panel after that, you have the pirates saying, "Whoa, that kid's keeping at, like he's gonna go at it, and he's keeping up."
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So no, it's clearly it's not that, but just for a moment, I took my Luffy knowledge and stretched it too far.
I do like this whole thing where like Koro is, because he is so smart and he like he's a big fish, he's a big pirate here in the East Blue. But I love that it leads to his ignorance, where now he's like, oh, and that's why he gets his really obnoxious line of, "Before we get serious, I have a question for you." Like, okay, bro, now you're gonna lose. Like, okay, like you weren't going serious, sure, man, right? Like, it's that I don't know why that irks me so much, but now he gets to lose. Right? Now you get to lose. Yeah.
Eric was rooting for you, Kuro, until that moment, and you blew it.
Like I understood his ambitions, but I can't. Being obnoxious always irks me. Like, I think that bugs me so much. So it always makes me, in my mind, it makes you an automatic villain in any story. When you're obnoxious and you're about to murder people, I think you're gonna lose now. Like,
dang.
It's what I am.
If I ever write scripts for you, I gotta think. You can't have obnoxious characters.
No, have it.
Eat them alive.
It establishes things very quickly in my mind.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. No, that's a shortcut to, identifying a villain.
Bad guy, yeah. Exactly. I don't know what noise to make at the end of this.
You know what, Eric? Summer, I don't know. When is summer? Summer's like June?
Yeah, probably is what we would consider summer.
Okay, yeah. I think May is definitely a spring month. But you know what? My hair has been growing long, and I feel like I could use a little bit of a Django buzz cut,
Okay.
So I need you to be my barber. So you get your, however your chakram / hair cutting devices work. Get them ready, get them revved up. Okay. We don't know exactly how they work.
Okay.
And we'll start. I'll give you directions on I'll give you the length of side and then which spot to hit.
Okay. I'm gonna try and do my best Django impression. Okay. Hey,
all right,
bro, come on in, take a seat. What can I get for you?
Yeah, no, my hair's just getting a little long. I wanna let's get a three on the right side.
Okay.
Just a 3 over there.
All right. I got that for you. Give me a second, man. 1.
Okay, sure thing.
2. Django. Oh, there goes your head. Dang it. Another one.